I think we're live. Oh, we're live. Shit.
Oh, we're live.
Are you recording?
I am. Yeah.
I need a drink. So welcome post live stream of
I'm nursing on this whiskey here.
given to you by none other than Elizabeth, right? Oh wait, no,
No.
shit, the other one.
It started with Elizabeth Warren.
The other one,
said,
Cynthia Nixon, you said?
No,
What did you
Elizabeth
call
Warren
her?
was like, it said like get a beer with Elizabeth Warren, and then in parentheses it said or a coffee or a tea or a beer, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then Kristen Gillibrand made one with
Who
like
you thought was
there was
Cynthia
like
Nixon?
an ad on Facebook I saw. She was like holding up her whiskey, and it said like, if you donate before July whatever, you'll be entered to a contest where you can have a whiskey with Christian. And I looked at the first 26 Facebook comments. Facebook does this new thing where it blocks out comments that it doesn't think is relevant, and you have to like actively go find them. Anyways, all 26 were like, "This is pathetic. Go home. You suck. Like, this is just straight pandering. Like, what are your policies, bitch?" Like,
I don't think she won. I'm going to go out on a limb and say she wasn't my...
I don't think it was a good look on anybody that was interrupting that much.
How do we do this? Do we just go through each candidate? Can we get like a spreadsheet of the candidates and just go through? Or do we start with our... Because I feel like if we start with our general impressions of this debate, it will devolve into hyperbole about how it was all hyperbole.
What did we title it, by the way?
The clear winner of the Democratic debate.
Hey, Joe, hit the microphone. Make sure
Are we not on?
Be heard.
Somebody agreed. They didn't give Yang time to speak. Shaking my head. I agree.
I think he had less than 3 minutes total.
I agree. Whoever you are, YouTuber, he had at most 3 minutes.
Yeah,
and that was all right. So let's start there because.
All right. Well, let's also start the fact that they clearly ended with Biden giving some like presidential speech, and they put him in the center, and he said, "Support our troops" at the end. Like,
so this is my problem. Allegedly, because I've had problems with how sketchy the DNC is since I don't know the last head of the DNC had to resign over sketchy anti-Bernie shit, and clearly they said, all right, this is going to all be randomized in terms of the candidates and their positions and all that shit. I'm pretty sure you could track stats in terms of who was polling most in their positions, right? Me and Biden in the center, right? And then on their sides, Buttigieg and Harris, who are both at like 7%.
Was it random? Did they randomly choose who was going to be sitting where?
I don't know. That's what I had heard, but it clearly isn't either way, right? But even then, Yang got...
Even if it was, who guarantees
Yang spoke, I think, 3 times. He got 3 chances
total,
to speak.
Including, which, like the last one, they gave like a last word to everybody for 45 seconds. But they were bouncing way more questions to way more people, like, randomly.
Yeah.
And all they did was introduce him by asking him a question about his universal basic income.
I think I told you, and for somebody who's polling higher than any of these made-up people like Hickenlooper, that sounds like
who was the Hickenlooper
sounds like
guy?
A fake name a fake name generator came up with that. I don't know who the fuck Hickenlooper is. I'm sure he's a real person.
And
actually, he had some actual good points, but realistically he has less than zero chance of winning, right?
The funny thing is, no matter how many times he talked, the camera would go to someone else, and when it went back to him, I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" I didn't even remember him over the course of like a minute.
There was the guy who had the bad dad jokes. The guy with the bad dad jokes on the right side. I forget his name. I don't know who the hell he was.
Yeah.
But this just shows what informed pieces of shit.
And when the people asked like, "Hey, can you just give like a quick answer? What country would you mend the relationship with first?"
Yeah.
They all started going off on their like pre-written, minute-long speeches.
Well,
and Yang was just like, China because of boom, boom, boom. Also North Korea. And then the moderator guy was like, "Thanks for being so short."
Yeah, the guy was like, thanks for being so short.
Thanks for following the rules we set.
But I actually like that because Yang kind of pulled an almost Trumpy vibe where he kind of said, all right, I would do this and then a bunch of other words that kind of trail off.
Yeah.
And the moderator was kind of, his reaction was along those lines of, wait, what? That's not really an answer. That's not the bullshit answer we were quite looking for. Right? And I feel like
this is supposed to be a play. It makes everybody feel good. It's fun.
I feel like Yang, that's what he has to lean into. This is what we were talking about as well during the debate, where I really like that Yang wasn't one of the people just fighting.
He was the most different person.
I think at one point he said, "Oh wait, I actually know what to say about this," and they were like, "Oh, we're going to a commercial break," and other than that, he didn't get into the bickering, and that could work to his advantage.
I think it might.
Well,
I think that may have even been his strategy.
I think that definitely was.
If the bickering starts, just kind of stand there and be like, I have the reasonable position that I've thought out. You can do the math yourself.
Follow the math.
Whatever. Like I think he was purposely trying to not play that game.
Yeah.
If you play a loser's game, you're a loser even if you win.
Well, this is what we saw with Hillary versus Trump in 2016, where she could not play his game. She was not on the same level. And Trump, to his credit, is he a demented megalomaniac, senile lunatic?
Don't forget Orange.
Orange as fuck? Of course he is. But guess what? He knows how to go toe for toe with you. You cannot out bullshit him.
As he said, we're cocked and loaded. Did you see that? Instead, like when he was threatening Iran, instead of saying locked and loaded, which is what the phrase is, he said cocked and loaded.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if this is true or not, but on Bill Maher, he was saying that that's actually the name of like a gay porno.
Oh, it's definitely the name of many gay pornos, I'm sure. But you're not. The point is, you're not going to beat him if you try to play his game. You need to usurp his game. It's like any game that has shitty rules that are arbitrary. Guess what? You can't stick to the old rules.
Yeah.
Those rules have been blown out of the water. You need to recognize that this person is trying to redefine the rules, and you need to be able to continue that path. You need to be able to.
Well, you need to address that at the very least, right?
Yeah.
Trump was playing a different game than Hillary.
Very much so.
Trump's game connected more with the people that decide elections.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Obviously, the majority of people in the country voted for Hillary, right?
By far.
But in the places that matter, right? Yeah. And those places, which is Andrew Yang's take, is that those were the very states, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, where millions of manufacturing jobs were lost. So people were thinking like, well, which one of these candidates seems to despise us?
Yeah.
And for even considering this guy Trump calls us despicable.
Right.
And which one seems like, even though he's a little bit ridiculous, I kind of feel like my life would get better if he's president.
And that's what Trump did, except
that's how people vote. They vote for their interest.
Trump didn't have actual real math on his side, and because Trump's whole thing was, we're outsourcing these jobs, we're shipping them to China, right?
China. No, you have to say faster.
China.
China.
But Yang's whole point is, I actually know the numbers and the statistics behind it, and it's interesting.
Boring. Go back to Trump.
Well,
what are you saying about Trump?
Well, that's what I mean. That's probably the one thing that he's lacking right now is in such a crowded field. It's very hard for him to. They asked him about UBI, and they asked him one other question about foreign relations with China, and then his final closing argument, where he's just like, you could tell his response was whatever he said, and he said, and Korea, and the guy was like, oh, you're done, and his response was very much along the lines of, yeah, this is bullshit. I'm pulling at 3% or whatever, more so than the other 3 or 4 people.
Not that they should even necessarily make the decision of airtime based on that.
No.
Now, to a degree, it's like, how much can you control that? But that one of those moderators should have. That's your job.
But guess what?
Mental tally of that.
There were people polling less than him on the stage who spoke, I don't know, 10 times as much as him.
Yeah.
Maybe. That's bullshit. They're afraid of him. They're afraid of him because they know their polling sucks, and he's probably polling higher than they even think. Right. That's what happened in 2016. They thought that they had all the polls, and Trump was right. The polls don't matter because you're not polling the right people. And guess what? Trump won where it mattered. Like like his people at least knew where to put the money. Where to do the
tweet out the live stream too.
Definitely.
I just saw the one person watching leave.
All right, we're gonna take a moment, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh wait, Joe, you do that because it'll be a link right on there.
I'm not capable of that. I'm like almost done with a bottle of wine. Like that's not gonna happen.
Belly full of wine.
This is on you. But ladies and gentlemen, let me just say.
Let's also just say that Yang was the only person to curse on stage tonight.
Why do you have to say that, Luke?
I think that's unique.
Why the fuck do you have to say that? For me, like... Oh, we got demonetized on YouTube. Oh, well.
We did? Oh.
Yeah.
For me, like,
like, share, and subscribe.
These people are throwing out lots of statistics, saying a lot of things. And
no, they're not. There are very few statistics.
I mean, percentages, right? Like, just numbers, right? This. It's not... I'm good. It's not like... we're sitting there checking it, right? So for me, a big part of like a debate like that, especially with 10 people, I just want to get the vibe of the person. Like, do they seem like a real person? Are they being a persona? Are they just saying things that sound good? like, of course you're against like torture of people, like, or do you seem like yourself? And I think for sure of all of those people from last night and tonight, Yang seems like he's Andrew Yang. The Andrew Yang we know is probably the one that he's like in front of his kids, and probably the one that he's like sometimes in front of his wife.
Also, can we just pause
he just
for
seems
a moment
genuine
and talk about the amount of Botox on this stage? Because
I bet Yang's the only one without Botox, for that matter.
Yang's definitely one of the ones without Botox. I can tell you that much for sure. Because Biden's and Bernie's whole, from their mouth up, their upper lip up, didn't move. Their face is just kind of plastered solid. Like, they don't look like what late 70-year-old people should look like. I don't know. I mean, I know that's a superficial
like, have they been super healthy? I don't know. Probably not. They're probably really stressed people. Like, they're living a crazy life.
How much does Bernie Sanders work out on a day-to-day basis?
You know what question they didn't
ask? Does he hit the treadmill?
This is a question you should fucking ask at a presidential debate, right?
Like, Sharon subscribe.
Why do you want to be president? And don't give like the bullshit, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that.
That's what Yang said in his closing remarks. He said, this is why, because I'm the only one focused on why Donald Trump got elected and how we're not addressing that issue. It's all about automation.
I mean, so I ask people that so that they can separate, like, what is your motivation? Like, I think Hillary Clinton's primary motivation was this, like, psychological obsession with getting it.
No, her motivation was...
didn't feel...
Her motivation was bend the knee.
I don't know if I got like a bend the knee kind of vibe. She definitely was seeking power, but I didn't see it as like a
that's what I mean by
personality disorder level. Like,
is that person? No, I don't think that's a personality disorder. That's just wanting people to say like, yes, you are the ruler, like you are the one.
House of Cards kind of vibe.
Yeah, it's just like,
have you watched that?
No, but that's the vibe.
The vibe is like, they're playing the game of like we're in a democracy, but.
You're playing to be king of that system, essentially.
Is Ricky dreaming?
I don't know what he's doing. Ricky, are you all right?
He's just doing dog stuff.
He's freaking out. Our dog's freaking out. He was not happy with the debate. I'm pretty sure he's voting for Mayor Pete because Mayor Pete looks a little bit like an alien, and so does my dog. So I'm going to go with that.
I was definitely depressed by that ending where they did that thing with Biden, clearly.
No, they ended with Biden because Biden's polling the highest.
But is that why, or they just say it's a coincidence?
No, it is. Well, they're going to say they're going to say, oh yeah, we just ended on Biden.
Do you think the NBC people had to agree to a bunch of stipulations by the DNC?
You end on Biden. I think it's unspoken. You end on Biden because Biden's polling the highest. So the people, if you start with Biden or you have Biden in the middle with the closing remarks, guess what? As soon as Biden's done, this was a long, stupid debate. I'm turning it off.
Yeah.
That's a fraction of people you miss out getting that last commercial break or whatever, or viewing hours, however that metric's measured. That translates to dollars and cents.
It's possible the DNC was just trying to make it
marketing
seem very fair this time around, rather.
Do you think it's just
by having so many people?
But do you
know, like, how could we have fixed it? We allowed so many people to all get on stage and speak about their ideas. Well, it's like they're all fundamentally for the same shit. They all have the same.
Well, that's my other question.
Basic ideas with a few like minor changes.
Do you think,
and they're opposing each other like they really disagree with each other because you have to play that game.
Do you think their guy
it's such a weird thing?
Do you think their guy is Biden? Because that's the other interpretation, is that the DNC
is that they decide ahead
of time
what's going to work.
The DNC decided in 2016 Hillary is our candidate.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why the DNC chair had to resign, and it's because they were very, they did sketchy shit.
Like the emails.
It's all back to the emails. People, look to the emails. I gotta sound like Bernie, like Trump hybrid. Did you just open the door?
Did Donald Trump order McDonald's?
Oh my God, yes.
You're on a live stream. I really don't want fries.
Thank you.
I got them for you.
Okay.
So we would like to thank our sponsor.
Yeah, we're sponsored by.
I don't think we're allowed to say that. McDonald's doesn't want to be associated with us. Like, share, and subscribe.
I haven't had like a McDonald's fry in 10 years.
Why not?
I'm gonna have one right now.
How is it?
Oh.
Do you know who eats McDonald's?
Hold this from me for a second.
for a second, he might come back for more.
Oh boy! Wow.
By the way, if at any point in the live stream you have any questions for us, one viewer, please, we would love to hear from you. We had somebody who...
We're here to give you the funky analysis of the debate. We're trying
We had somebody who wrote a bunch of comments, but they kept correcting. They're mostly them correcting themselves, so I assume they're wasted.
Does that count as another comment?
I think they definitely left. Unless they're back. If you have a question, we would love to hear it. So I assume somebody hit their head on a keyboard. Think about it, dude. Out of all YouTube, we have one viewer. What are the odds that person's alive?
Many people using YouTube right now. We're so proud of you, viewer.
Yeah.
We really like you right now.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going. So
yeah. I don't want this.
I have
my own. I'm gonna eat these. I'm not gonna not eat the French fries.
So speaking of McDonald's as a sponsor, there was a podcast called Your Mom's House. It's Christina Pazsitzky and what's the guy's name?
Don Draper.
Oh yeah, sure. Whatever. This comedian, husband and wife, and they got like $1 million from McDonald's, and they had to just paint their studio like the McDonald's colors and whatever else. But it was very little that they had to do. And after the first episode that McDonald's was the sponsor, I'm pretty sure it was the guy's episode. Yeah, they showed this whole they were just making fun of a video they found on the internet where a guy was reviewing this vibrating butt plug, and the guy was going through the all the settings, and every time he shoved up his ass, he would give this face. It's oh, and they were just making fun of it. How long did their
sponsorship last?
That afternoon, he gets a call from the McDonald's guy just saying listen, I tuned into the podcast. Yeah, that's not okay. We're going to have to ask for our money back. We're pulling out. And then they did an episode a week later and talked about the whole thing, and they played the voicemail from the McDonald's guy. It was hilarious. The McDonald's guy had just assumed it's a comedy podcast, so they just make jokes and stuff. And he didn't realize that they're just there's no rules. That's not how it works.
It's podcasting. It's dregs. We wound up eating McDonald's fries on the debate review episode.
Yeah.
It just happened.
I was supposed to switch to water because I had a lot of whiskey. I was angrily drinking whiskey every time they didn't give Andrew Yang enough fucking time to talk.
I got to kill this bottle. I'm curious. I haven't checked what Andrew Yang tweeted because he definitely has tweeted about this. But this is what I'm going to say about the debate.
This is why you should support us on Patreon because we'll get.
Stop telling the one person listening to give us money.
I don't have to do these fries.
Just eat them. God damn it! It's not that hard. Be an American, you bastard. You commie motherfucker.
Slap my salami. The guy's a commie. All right, so Joe, which guy do you remember the name that we said was definitely a sleeper cell for some kind of deep
Buttigieg?
Yeah, Buttigieg. Yeah, we think he's Russian.
At any moment, I could see him saying, "Well, the thing about Middle American politics is that they're good. Yeah. That's very good." Right? You could see he speaks Norwegian. He could totally make that easy transition.
Yeah, I was telling you, in BoJack the cartoon, where at some point this guy comes out of a coma, and it was a deep sleeper cell Russian guy, and so he thought it was still the 80s, but he got out of a coma, and it was actually 2000 something, and so he's inside his house, and he's trying to get radio Mother Russia, right? And he's going come in, KGB High Command. And BoJack's line when he he overhears it, he goes, "Slap my salami, the guy's a commie."
That's awesome.
And the best part about it is I was watching it with Turkish subtitles, and in the Turkish subtitles, they found a way to say that with rhyming words in Turkish.
Oh, there's an equivalency?
No, I mean, they do a legit translation for Netflix originals into all these languages. They hire a real person to say, all right, so we want to say a phrase like that, but also translate it so it rhymes.
No, but I mean, salami and commie, there's two equivalent phrases that rhyme.
If you can make it work, right? I think what they said, I asked Yaka, it definitely wasn't commie, communist. It was just a word for a traitor,
Right.
But nevertheless.
Nevertheless.
So did you get to watch highlights of last night?
I saw 20 minutes of last night, and it was just it was Warren.
The 20 minutes we saw together.
Let me sum it up for you. Warren was smirking meh, and De Blasio was just being outrageous, and
Cory Booker was I'm black. If you didn't know,
no, Cory Booker just had crazy fucking.
What about
eyes.
the Spanish speaking? Did you see that?
I heard about it. I love that Yang's tweet to that just said,
it was my Spanish is so bad.
Yeah, he said my Spanish sucks. Basically, he's yeah, I'm not gonna try that shit. I don't care. Can we just let's step back a moment. All right,
let's do the step back. We're at the step back moment.
Okay, so I was very disappointed that climate change came up for however long it did, because to me that's it.
You said it's the White Walkers.
It's the White Walkers.
What right now?
Yes, that's what I said. They're bringing up the White Walkers.
So is Russia and China.
An hour and a half into a 2-hour debate. But no, it's like if the planet fucking melts and all your cities go underwater, it doesn't matter if Russia's your enemy. That doesn't make a difference. This should be the primary focus. None of these other issues matter if you don't have coastal cities anymore, and you have to have the biggest mass relocation of people since the fucking last ice age, where the glaciers melted.
Ooh, you're cursing like Andrew Yang, man.
Well, hey, man, I'm about to transition full throttle, man.
Ribbit, ribbit,
motherfuckers. That's a Jordan Peterson reference. Oh, we just lost a viewer. We went from 2 to 1.
Oh, we had 2?
Yeah, for a moment until I started doing the Jordan Peterson.
That means our clickbaity title worked. And
oh god! And then they clicked here,
and they're like, "Oh, I thought I was going to get like a real news."
This isn't what I was. This isn't what I was looking for. But no, seriously.
This is the funky analysis. If you don't know what that means,
I want to see a debate just on climate and climate policy. Because guess what? They've spent the whole last fucking year making a whole rigmarole of the Green New Deal.
Good word.
Right? That's a word that.
And what was the Green New Deal? It was a bunch of like platitudes.
Oh, you love the Green New Deal.
Oh God, I have a file on my computer that says Green New Deal drunk tank, and I haven't clicked it yet.
It's bad.
It's bad, right?
It's bad. But my point being,
so if you hack our Google Drive, you can.
No, don't make those promises, Luke.
I don't know if I put it. Oh, it's on there. Yeah, never mind.
But like, there should be a debate just about climate policy. This is everything. This is going to start costing the country. It already costs the country tens of billions of dollars a year. The effects of changing climate.
It's made up.
What, changing climate?
Yeah, prove it.
It's going to start to cost hundreds of billions, and within.
You're saying words, but I said prove it.
Like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have the studies in my hands talking to you, but I can send them to you.
So they don't exist?
Are you just being Trump, Luke?
I don't know. I'm just wondering why you say climate change is so important, but you can't even prove it.
Because I'm not in a Democratic debate running for fucking president. I'm drunk eating McDonald's French fries, yelling at your dumb ass.
You're saying a bunch of better. You're making.
No,
sense
you
now.
said better. Yeah, exactly. Those are better words. But
you said more truth. Keep going. Why is climate change real?
Okay, well there goes whatever credibility you had left. But my point being that you should know me well enough to know that I can give you the sources of this, of how much money is spent on whether it's reclamation or relocation.
That's not even a word. Now you're just making up words.
God! All right, Luke, we're done here. Luke's gone full whatever that vibe is. But
so you wanted more climate change in general.
I wanted more specific questions about policy and specific answers about policy. There were some, like, they did start.
A few people got into something.
They started to get, like, Buttigieg started to get into about like soil treatment.
He was like, give money to Russia. It's my new policy.
That's good.
That's good. I mean, yes.
Soil very fertile, like virgin. No.
In Soviet Russia, the soil.
I'm from Indiana. Yeah. The thing about Indiana. Yeah. No. That's probably true, but yeah, I just feel like that's so, and it's more of an issue too with, I feel like you got to ask, like, who are they pandering towards, right? And they're not pandering towards.
Certainly not me, because I don't think they would.
They're not pandering like that. They're not pandering towards me because I'm a non-affiliated voter in New York. That's laughable to them. Yeah, I don't have a political party. I refuse. Which is funny because I'm way more left.
I thought you loved America, but go on.
Well, it's funny because I'm way more left than a lot of my friends who are registered Democrats, but I just I've never been party affiliated. But that's why New York sucks, because they don't have an open primary, which I think is fucking bullshit. And that's part of also the problem of the Democratic Party. I get told regularly by people who are Democrats, who are you voting for in the primary? Can't do it. I'm not a registered Democrat. Mm-hmm. You should register. Why? So you can vote in the primary. Yeah, I'm not going to play that game. They should decide to have an open primary. Oh, well, you're part of the problem now. No, I'm not. You tell your party to have an open fucking primary. How about that? If you
want me. So you're saying people come to you like do that so that you could, because you're going to vote for the person I support too.
Exactly.
And you're like, well, then I want to do it the right way, right?
Yeah, I want to do it the way where, guess what? It's probably a good thing to not have 50% of the country registered Republican and 50% of the country registered Democrat. It's probably good to have people who say, yeah, what do you got? Oh, you're going to have a primary? You should probably start to appeal to voters who you're going to need to win in the general election. Why not have an open primary?
That's why I like what Yang says about identity
Which some
politics.
States do. We lost all our viewers, by the way.
We're back to 0.
I don't know what it was. I'm just going to start eating more McDonald's in this case. Fuck it.
I mean, they'll still be able to hear that, but...
Like, share, and subscribe.
Because we'll put it out, but... I mean, like, I don't have much more to say. Like, I'm happy that Yang curses. It makes him feel... I think it's calculated a little bit, like he does it on purpose, but I think it's a smart calculation.
Well, it's not a very superficial calculation. Like, a more superficial calculation is, let me avoid the question and go to my talking points, because
I hate that, man.
Guess what? We had a 10-person debate where it should have been a 5-person debate. It should have been Biden, Bernie, Harris, Buttigieg, and Yang.
Yeah.
Those are the only people you need in this debate. 5 people. And guess what? You could have... There were moments where people questioned each other's claims and whatever, that's what you want in a debate. You want people to... It
will come down to like a one-on-one eventually, though.
Yeah.
And that's always where it lands.
But these other
the problem
is
it's not fair because it doesn't let... You know what pissed me off, too? I was driving to your house, and it was like on the hour. So it was like, from NPR News in Washington, I'm Jack Spear, and it was a live thing.
Yeah.
And they do this quick little bit. Oh, the Democratic debate is about to start, blah, blah, blah. We've got Biden. We've got Bernie Sanders. We've got Mayor Pete Buttigieg. And Kamala Harris and a bunch of others.
Did they really say that?
Yeah. Like, it was just like, and they didn't, like, when you want to wonder, like, how the media, like, monstrosity works, I really am it would make me insane to try and believe that there's some kind of orchestrated, like, way that works. I don't think that's how it works.
Isn't that what, like, the zeitgeist is? It's just sort of the collective consciousness.
I think it's just like a weird, like, incentive system that seems to line up most of the time, because it doesn't always line up. But most of the time, like, what stories get promoted?
But you're right. There's
what stories get demoted.
There's weird, like, consensuses. Like, because I remember, I haven't seen their pieces on other people, but take The Daily Show, for example. Their piece on Yang was basically, hey, this guy's a joke. Let's make a mockery of him. Their piece on, I didn't see if they did a piece on Biden, but they make anti-Biden jokes all the time. Mm-hmm. And their piece on Warren was super smiley face, 2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
Clearly they love Warren. Does everybody? Is that the Democratic establishment candidate? I don't think so, because guess what? She's polling less than Bernie and Biden, I believe. I think Biden's number 1, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard to say, but at a certain point, there are clear choices. And as the field gets narrower and narrower, guess what? There's fewer and fewer choices, and they kind of coalesce as this collective.
And it becomes more obvious.
Yeah, exactly. It becomes 2016 was just the most obvious, because what's funny, so I mean,
Bernie and Hillary were like toe to toe for a while.
Well, here's the thing about 2016 that people don't realize. 2016 was not Hillary's election to win. 2008 was Hillary's election to win.
Yeah, that's true.
Obama came out of fucking nowhere, and just guess what? People listened to him and listened to Hillary and said, like this guy better.
Yeah,
I just like him. People.
He doesn't seem genuine.
He
does.
What are his qualifications? Like the way he talks.
Policy aside, in other words, like what Obama actually did and like the bad things he did that are, like there are things that Obama did that,
but guess what?
Trump is doing, and then
but guess what?
There's always
no president is perfect. Though.
That's what I'm saying. There's always that two-sided thing where like the Democrats will ridicule Trump for something, and then they never said a word when Obama was doing the same thing, and vice versa.
But so much of that is calculated. Like that was one of the stories I read where Obama wanted to do all this shit in his first term, and they said, no, you have to focus on like healthcare your first term and same-sex marriage your second term or whatever. Mm-hmm. You can't have both your first term. You're not going to get reelected.
Yeah.
And he was like very despondent about that. And they're like, this is how you have to
do it. But that's kind of like one of the greater good things. If you really think you can do it, you might have to make compromises.
So you sometimes have to take a position where it's like, oh, this seems disingenuous. This seems not what the right thing is to do. But guess what?
And you can't say it because then it doesn't work.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, God, but it's so fake. I hate it. Like, I wish you could just say what you think,
That's what Trump does.
Isn't the problem that...
It's just that he's insane.
Well, okay, so I was going to say, like, all the policy things aside, the thing that was comforting about Obama was he seemed like a rational person who was properly balanced between,
like, don't you feel like
emotions?
Don't you feel like if we won a contest and you had to get a beer with Obama,
I think I would have a great conversation with him.
You would have a great, like,
Yeah.
The perfect example is if
I would
you
talk
watch,
about oatmeal or whatever.
And he'd be like, yeah, that's funny, oatmeal.
Yeah, oatmeal. I do get burned on the tongue sometimes. Fucking
perfect
oatmeal,
example
raisin
is
oatmeal.
if you watch comedians in cars getting coffee with Jerry.
I haven't seen that one actually.
You should let's watch it after, because there's so many moments where he's trying to be a politician because he's so used to interviews, and Jerry says, "Let's be real here." Jerry kind of looks at him, like lowers his gaze and goes, "Seriously?" And Obama just like laughs nervously and then says, "All right." And then he's like, and then for the rest of the interview, he's totally like
more relaxed.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, cool," because he's so used to having to leverage like talking points, because that's just how it goes. And it's true. It's like, I mean, Obama, it's like for everything, all his faults and everything that he did that was good and bad, like he still passed like healthcare reform. He still, was president during equalization of same-sex marriage. Like there was a lot of stuff that happened under him. Did he do everything he could have that he should have? No, but this is what we talked about in 2016, going back all the way then, where progress is a slow slope. You can't just say, no, this is what I want. This is what I feel like I deserve.
Especially
now.
Changing cultural things. Like
these are long established norms.
So for example,
and I think Obama got that. That's what a lot of, very hardline liberals don't necessarily get.
By the time same-sex marriage got passed, it was also culturally like way accepted. It became like a thing where people just kind of learned.
Should it happen sooner? Of course. But the
shoving it down culture.
That's the story. But that's the story.
Approach just doesn't work.
That's the story of history.
It causes resentment.
I mean, the fact that the Civil Rights Act happens in the 1960s is insane. That it took until the 1960s for that shit. That's insane.
Well, so there are some things that are more, that are non-negotiables, I would say, right? And that was part of the debate tonight, is that some people were saying this is not a reach across the aisle thing, Mr. Biden. This is such a dire issue that it's just you have to do it kind of vibe. And I get that, but here's the thing I came back to, and I had heard a podcast a couple of days ago, and it kind of like gave me a footing to stand on myself and want other people to stand on, which is the democracy itself, right? If anything that anybody says, if what they say means I'm willing to get rid of the democratic process, whether that means following the Constitution with the Supreme Court or ruling or
the process
itself, right? If they're willing to say, and I've seen a lot of people on the left say, well, Trump's doing it, so why shouldn't we do it to get what we want? And that is one of the most unprincipled, stupid positions I think you could say.
Oh, I agree. The problem is that
that's how you slip into Trump's chaos and you ruin a country.
Yeah.
What you do is you take office and you make it clear to people who seem to have forgotten that this is why you need a principled person.
But this is my point of like ultimately, and I guess what are we at? We could probably wrap up.
Totally.
So my point being,
I'm talking shit, I think.
No. You have a good point, because my point is like what's funny is
I'm just being humble. I know.
Very. I can imagine people listening to this and then saying like, "Oh,
what people?"
our 0 viewers. Like I'm a Harris person, I'm a Buttigieg person, I'm a Biden person, whatever. These guys suck.
Yang gang.
Yeah, hashtag Yang gang. These guys suck. Guess what? Whoever wins the Democratic nomination, I'm going to support the fuck out of. Because, like I said, the planet's fucking melting. Trump is senile. His brain is melting.
Possibly related to global warming. We don't know.
Possibly. At least a correlation. So I would just like to say for anybody who may or may not ever listen to this, look, this happened in 2016. Nobody was happy with Hillary as the nominee. That's why Gary Johnson got 3% of the fucking national vote or whatever he did. And people voted for Jill Stein, as batshit crazy as she was too, because people were so dissatisfied with Hillary. Yep. There's something to be said.
She really didn't inspire anything in anyone. I mean, obviously in some people.
But guess what? I still voted for her.
I did too.
Because the alternative, who's Trump, is a fucking nightmare.
I remember I was in the car, I went to vote, and it was one of the longer lines I've ever seen for a vote.
Yeah, it was a big election, yeah.
I left my girlfriend in the car, and when I got back, it was
You left her in the car like a dog?
No, she could have come in, but it was a cool November.
Did you crack a window?
Yeah,
Yeah, it takes a while. You just said it's a long line. How long did you lock your girlfriend in the car?
I locked her in. Oh, wow. No.
Share, and subscribe.
There's no locking. The windows were down. It was a lovely day.
Why didn't she come in?
She can't vote.
You told her to wait?
I mean, she would
You are a very bad man.
Oh my God, that's not important. Anyways, when I got back, she was on the phone with her mom, calling her mom in Turkey, and I was just like saying hi to her mom over the speakerphone real quick, and like when she said like, "How's it going?" I just said, I just made my vote, like hoping the orange orangutan doesn't get elected. Ha ha ha. And then I remember the laugh that I had after saying that was kind of like it's not going to happen. Like, obviously he's not going to win.
Right.
And I think that's what was so disturbing is this like feeling that like anything could happen.
Yeah. Because that's what we're afraid
of. There's like
a
tension in the country, like that I mean, not that I've traveled the country like a candidate or something, but I just feel the tension in the vibe of the whole thing, that it just feels very...
Well, this is the problem with social media,
we're all like,
too.
wait a second. We realize that this whole system's not kept together by some geniuses.
Yeah.
It's all held together very delicately by a bunch of monkey people, most of who are dishonest assholes who are just trying to make a buck, you know?
You're sounding very... Hey, man,
I'm just trying to say it's chaos or it's order. And you gotta walk the path,
man. Can you, as we wrap up here, make a promise to our 0 viewers right now?
Well... Is a promise divided by 0 like 0?
Yeah.
So I don't have to do the promise.
Allegedly.
No.
Duluth might be listening.
just like the Yang Gang made a live announcement on Colbert. Did you see his live announcement, Andrew Yang, on Colbert?
No. What did he? Oh, he's giving away UBI.
Yeah. So you should retweet his tweet that he put out while he was on Colbert, and he's going to pick a random person from all the people that retweeted and give them $1,000 a month, because he's been trying it out with like various families. I think 2 other families, coincidentally in swing states.
We should just do an ep on UBI.
Yeah.
Oh no, we'd have to do research.
We can get that. There's like a small YouTube channel. It's called Nerds for Andrew Yang, or Nerds for Yang, I think.
That's a YouTube channel?
Yeah. I think amazing. I sent it to you. The guy seems pretty cool, and he's not like a big channel. Like, he might actually like want to have a conversation about any of that shit. And this guy like breaks down a lot of numbers and makes graphs, whereas I just like play trumpet and then come to Joe's house with whiskey.
That's a pretty solid vibe in terms of credentials. Yeah.
Let's not even intro this one. Let's just put it out. Boom.
Yeah. Boom.
Boom.
All right. So thanks for listening.
Yang Gang.
If you #Yang Gang, if you are Andrew Yang and you're listening, we would love to have you on the podcast.
Really, I think this could be the thing that.
First of all, I would just like to say I like how my Bernie Sanders impression, or my Trump impression, is half Trump, half Bernie.
Yeah.
I would just like to say that we would love to have you on, and if you would come here, it would be great again. See?
That's not bad.
Right? It's if they got together.
All right. Well, that's our Thunky analysis. I'm tired.
What's your thing that you usually say to our fans?
Stay funky. Oh, go fuck yourselves. No.
No, but we would love to hear.
I think most of the people at that debate should go fuck themselves.
I would primarily agree with that.
I understand it's the format, but if you get asked the question, answer it.
Well,
don't just like talk around it and pretend you answered it and wait for the applause. We all know anybody smart knows it's bullshit.
So very quickly, the problem was 10 people is too much for a debate. You need 5 at most, because the problem with giving 60 seconds at a time is that they don't answer the question because they have to fit in their talking points about the question.
They're getting a message about to people that have never heard of them. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, they're trying to brand themselves. So we'll see next time, whatever. But if you are listening to this, we would like to hear your reactions and responses to the debate, and as well as questions. So we're going to post this now, and we'll post it on YouTube, on Twitter. So comment on YouTube, comment on Twitter, and
spread it around. I mean, people really, I think they should hear the Thunky analysis. We went through the numbers. We had a lot of graphs. Were the graphs popping up on the screen as we talked about them, or did that not work?
I mean, my bottle of wine kind of works as the graph.
We got McDonald's fries. We got an almost finished bottle of wine.
Which is funny because I'm normally healthy as fuck.
I don't know how to count a liquid, so I don't know how many whiskeys I had.
Like, share, and subscribe.
And my brother was at the Bronx Zoo today. It was crazy. He's like, there was not zebras, giraffes like coming down, and you could like touch them and shit like that.
You gotta hit stop now.
All right. Well, you gotta hit stop on YouTube.
Oh shit! All right, thanks.
Bye, nobody.
Later, YouTube. Wait, who is this person? They didn't give